Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sabitah Mufid and I'm from 4A with TRILAS ID number 027. In this video, I would talk about review 10 article that I read. And then for the first article is circumstance of and challenges in providing inclusive English education for Thai novices and monks by Arnon Chaisurya. This article examine the reality and challenges of inclusive English education in rural Thailand temple schools. Qualitative phenomenological study using classroom observation, document inspection, and interview with novices, teachers, and abbots. And then key findings show that religious duties, local dialect, and declining Hmong population disrupt and hinder English learning. And the strength from first article is redefine inclusivity by focusing on socio-economically marginalized and religious groups, provide strong empirical field data through extensive triangulation. And the benefit this article, it can help teachers and policymakers design flexible, adaptive English curricula that accommodate the cultural and religious duties of novice monks. And then the weakness this article is limited generalizability due to its small qualitative scope in rural areas. Some proposed solutions like local economic revitalization are too broad for school-level fix. So, everyone, what we can learn from this first article is that inclusive education isn't just about facility. It's also about how we as educators can adapt to the unique cultural and religious schedule of our students. It reminds us that a flexible curriculum is key when dealing with marginalized or non-traditional learners. Now, let's move on the second article. And then for the next article is English Education Master Students Perception on Teacher-Written Corrective Feedback in Academic Writing by Florencio Cristanto Wijaya. This article investigates how master students in English education perceive teacher-written corrective feedback in academic writing. Qualitative study utilizing semi-structured interviews to explore student emotional, cognitive, and behavioral responses. Findings show that students highly value indirect and metalinguistic feedback as it stimulates critical thinking and self-correction. This article have strength deeply explore the psychological and cognitive aspect of feedback from the specific perspective of advanced English as foreign language learner. And then the benefit this article, it can help university lecturers tailor their feedback strategies to be more effective, encouraging autonomy and deeper analytical skills in academic writing. And then for the weakness, small sample size typical of qualitative research and relies heavily on self-reported perception, which may not fully reflect actual writing improvement. Okay guys, as you can see from the slide, this article gives a great insight for higher education. For advanced students, less is more. Giving indirect feedback actually challenges them to think deeper and fix their own mistakes. This proves that encouraging autonomy is far more valuable than simply spoon-feeding the correct answer. And the next, for the third article, is communicative language teaching approach in Saudi context, a critical appraisal by Al-Harbi. Like we can see from the slide, the takeaway here is very clear. We cannot just copy-paste Western teaching method and expect them to work perfectly everywhere. We must always consider local classroom realities and exam formats. If the assessment system remains the traditional, teachers will always struggle to implement modern communicative approaches. Then, for the fourth article, is face-to-face and online learning in higher education, academic achievement and learners' experience in the Chinese EFL context by Liu Zhak. This is a very relatable topic. It proves that while online classes can deliver the same academic grades, they still cannot replace the real human interaction and engagement we get from traditional face-to-face classroom. Therefore, a hybrid or blended learning model might be the best compromise for modern universities. For the fifth material is the effect of using Google Docs on Ethiopian EFL student collaborative writing improvement by Demisi et al. This study is a great example of how simple, accessible technology like Google Docs can make a huge difference. When students write together digitally, they learn from each other and get better results. It can highlight how cloud-based collaboration can effectively minimize the geographical and physical barriers in education. And then for the sixth article is EFL student participation and teachers' role in online discussion forum for critical media literacy learning by Afrilia Santi et al. Like, what I love about this article is how it redefines our role. In the digital era, teachers are no longer just lecturers. We need to step up as online facilitators to guide student critical thinking. Without structured teacher scaffolding, online forums often just become chaotic or unproductive space. Then, for the seventh article is challenges and strategies in English medium learning among Chinese international students in a Malaysian university by Zhang Li et al. Like, this slide reminds us that international students face not just language barriers, but also emotional struggles when adapting to English medium classes. It shows that how critical a supportive peer environment really is. Universities need to understand that academic success is deeply connected to a student's social well-being. And next, for the eighth article is English listening via online application, tool-mediated language learning by EFL University students by Huang et al. Basically, this article emphasizes that mobile apps are highly powerful tools for learning outside the classroom. And the key here is helping students build self-discipline to handle digital distraction. It shows that technology is only effective if the learner possesses to self-regulated habits. Next, with the 9 article is investigating communication apprehension in English among Thai high school students, a two-pronged study on speaking anxiety and attitude by Mueng Nakin and Naratakud. Then, for the last article is anxiety in speaking, what factors and how to overcome by Ramli, Fitriawati and Nirmala. And this article identifies are the primary underlying factors causing English speaking anxiety among EFL students and explore their coping mechanisms. Qualitative study using open-ended questionnaire and interviews. Findings show that linguistic deficit and psychological pressure are the main anxiety triggers, which students mitigate through preparation and peer encouragement. And the strength article provides a highly practical dual-focus analysis, the balance, the diagnosis of problem with immediate learner-centered solution. And then the benefit from this article can offer language teacher explicit student verify strategies to help learners manage performance anxiety and build classroom confidence. So that's all 10 articles that I read. Now that we have reviewed all 10 articles individually, let's look at the bigger picture. When we connect the dots, we can see 5 fascinating correlations that define modern EFL education. Like, there is connect about psychological barriers to speaking, technology enhanced writing, and then digital tools for autonomy, and then the fourth, contextual mismatch in Asia, and then for the last, student perception versus outcome. In conclusion, this article proved that successful language teaching is never just about the textbook. It's a delicate balance of adopting the right technology, managing the student psychological needs, and respecting the local cultural context. Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope this insight help you in your own teaching journey. And then bye bye.